Good evening. Welcome to Modern Spiritualists Live. I'm Aeson Knight, of course, sitting down with me is the legendary British psychic Hazel Firefly. How are you, darling?
I'm very well, thank you, after being poorly, but now you're poorly.
I am. We're not sure what's going on with me. I think my digestive system is just trying to fall for divorce again. We always
Yeah,
have debates on this one.
yeah. It's all about getting the balance right after Christmas as well.
Oh, tell me about it. It is awful trying to get balance and getting back into a diet and then
Yeah.
getting people to just leave you alone. Like, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
There are so many food diets out there. It's ridiculous. And it seems like every diet expert here as a life coach has gone on a diet and start filling our email boxes full of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And truth be known, you're not going to lose weight unless you put effort into it yourself. No pill
Exactly.
is a magical pill.
Well, no, pill's a magical pill. No diet plan fits everybody. You know, you got to take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and, work in a little bit of exercise. And, a lot of it's mental.
Yeah,
When I mean mental, it means that it's a lot of your mindset, of,
yeah,
what you need and where you need it. But no, it seems like the moment, because I started dieting about 3 years ago, seriously. Um, and it seemed like the moment that I started doing low carb diet, all these other diets started sending me emails.
yeah,
And it's like, really? If you guys watch my show that much, why don't you send me a sponsorship for it?
yeah, yeah,
Instead of, hey, try this, and hey, review us, and hey, try us on this one, and try this one. And it's like, I'm setting with what I'm working with,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And then we have, my doctor who goes, you can't do that for too long. All right, now you've done this one too perfect. You got to add some carbs back in there. And I'm like, no, and he makes sense, but he is also on top of my health and what he
yeah,
expects out of my health and that type of thing.
yeah.
But we're back, we're in charge, we're dealing with a little bit of stuff. And today we're talking about a hot topic. And see, this is where, like, me and you can see this trend repeat itself over and over and over again. It started out in the early 90s. My ex-boyfriend was bipolar. He had to be bipolar. That's why we couldn't date anymore. I had to dump his ass. Then
I
around
love
2012, yeah.
I love the way people self-diagnose. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it is.
Hi,
Well, not even
Brenda.
self-diagnosed, co-diagnosed. Hello, Miss Brenda. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. And then around 2012, the new catchphrase was, "My ex was a psychopath, so I had to dump him." Now we're seeing this rising trend. Like, there are books being written about this. The whole, how to tell if your boyfriend's a psychopath, how to tell if he's bipolar. I'm like, okay, let's trek along here.
Oh,
And now everybody that you break up with is a narcissist.
yeah. It's knowing what's narcissistic. I can't even say the word. We're going to say narc.
Okay,
What's the difference between a narc and just a general person that's concerned?
right.
Because I
Well,
think that's where people get confused as well.
right. There's a narcissist checklist.
Go on, read it to me.
You're gonna love this. Must be admired. Has a sense of entitlement. Interpersonality explorational behavior. Agrees, wants to be have achievements and talents. Rushes into love. A set of strict rules. Denies own. Like, denies their own attention, denies their own diagnosis. Emotionally vulnerable, they aren't. 8 vulnerabilities, they don't show the emotional vulnerabilities. Grandioser, um, argumentative.
That sounds like every relationship.
Okay. Expect special treatment. Superiority complex. Has some form of addiction. Difficulty handling criticism. They expect extra caretaking, conducts smear campaigns, lack of empathy, envy or jealousy, manipulative, taking advantages of others, belittling and blaming, not sincere, and exploitates others.
You need to sort out the chat.
I am.
Hi, Shannon.
Hello, Shannon. Okay, yes, it is time for some tea. I've only diagnosed one as an asshole.
This is why I like our lives.
Exactly. Our audience are amazing. But if you notice, this checklist is so fucking general.
Yeah.
Most people have them. Self-absorbed. Most of us, oh, I'm doing this, oh, I'm doing that. If you're having a relationship, you're going to sound self-absorbed.
Yeah.
A strong need to control. Control what? Control
Arguments.
your job, control your life.
Arguments. Every relationship has arguments. That's how you set boundaries for the future.
Mm-hmm. Every relationship isn't destined to be a continual relationship.
No.
Every relationship isn't set to be the forever, which I get so tired of hearing. Forever what? Is he my one? Only if you want him to be your one.
Yeah. I've met him twice. Have we got a future? Get to know him first.
What if he doesn't like coffee? Jeez, or...
I don't... And they saying rushes into a relationship. I don't know what you think, but every person I read for, they've met the person twice. They've planned their life out with them. They've bought their house and picked their wedding dress.
Normally. Now, there are another subset that I read for that don't do it. And normally it's after they've been through 1 or 2 marriages. They're like, now we're just going to see where this goes. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
They go in it gauged. They go in it. And I think it has to do with our modern lifestyle.
Yeah.
We are connected constantly. But it drives me crazy. We get people, these are friends or clients. Sometimes it's both that do it. And I've corrected a few of my friends. That play arm car cheerbacks. Yes, that is one of Aeson's rules. If you cannot make coffee, I will not date you. Excuse me. We have these people that has to put a label on it, on a relationship, and some are saying, it was a fun time, but that relationship just doesn't work out. We've grown apart. We aren't together anymore. His emotions and my emotions no longer equal. Our lifestyle is not equaling the same. There's things that I want out of my life that he's not willing to give me. Being realistic. Instead, they got to throw blame somewhere.
I've got a male friend. Him and his ex-wife have 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't be in a relationship together because they didn't get on.
Right.
They now live in a street behind each other. Uh-huh. They've got a better relationship now than they did when they were a couple.
Yeah. Because it removes the expectations of a relationship.
Yeah. And he said, I've got a house, she's got her house. I could see the kids whenever I want to. It's ideal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But not
And it works
everybody
well.
thinks that's the way.
Right. I was watching a TED Talk doing a little research on this show. Now, everyone knows that TED has a lot of CEOs, a lot of successful entrepreneurs in it. And one of the speakers came out and said at least there was like 2,500 people in the audience because this was one of the big TEDs. And she says at least 10% of you are narcissists. Counting that we have CEOs, at least 30, that takes it up to about 30% are narcissists. And I'm like, okay, how does that translate to real human possibilities? Being proud of your achievements?
Because somebody have worked their arse off to get where they are. It don't make them an arse.
Right.
It makes them a hard-working person that's done what they needed to for their family.
Right. Someone recently done a study, Stanford graduate study of business, said that, many of the CEOs are narcissists, like Steve Jobs or Lee Elson or Elon Musk. Have described narcissists or have been described as narcissists. Success of such leaders is often obtained through their bold visions, extreme self-confidence, and determination for wins at all costs. You show me a business person or someone that's been in business, like women want these successful men that are lawyers, that are doctors, that own their own businesses, that are CEOs and C-suites and VIPs. Like, oh, they don't want Burger King boy, they want the CEO of McDonald's. Okay, that takes a certain amount of gumption.
Yeah.
That takes a certain amount of chutzpah, as we say, but it also takes that I ain't taking no for an answer. I will be a millionaire before this day, no matter if I've got to work 18 hours a day.
Yeah. And I see that as somebody that's building for their future. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Because we've all been there at some point where you've had to work the extra hours to get what you want in life.
Exactly. But see, people don't get that. People, it's like, we get them all the time. Why isn't he calling me at night? Because he's bloody asleep. He doesn't say goodnight to me anymore. But he's been trying to get a promotion. There's your answer.
Yeah.
Get a clue on really what's going on with your lover's life. How many hours he works a week? Oh, about 70. And then what? Well, then he comes home and he coaches baseball for his little league. And then he goes and does this. Then he goes and does that. Okay.
So he's dead on his feet before he even thinks about bed.
Exactly. Yet you're mad because he isn't calling you. Well, he never texts me anymore. Oh, no, I've gotten into these debates with callers. He doesn't text me anymore. He doesn't call me anymore. He's blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, what else is going on in his life? Well, he's trying to get this promotion. Do they ask about his promotion? No. They're asking why isn't he calling me?
Yeah. That's okay. Just get his phone out in work. He won't get into trouble for it.
Yeah, oh, he works from home, so I don't understand why he isn't, chatting with me all day. Works from home, that means he's even got to prove more.
Yeah. You've got to put more effort in to get your work done, to give you motivation.
Yes.
That's so true. Yeah.
That's a great comment. It's like when I start dating people, I tell them point blank, I run 2 companies simultaneously. I work 70 plus hours a week. I do not have time to be texting you all day long. You can leave a message. I will reply when I have time. And if that
Yeah.
isn't good enough for you, then we're not going to work. Because I have animals underneath my feet. I don't need men.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's true.
Yeah.
I haven't got time to date because I'm just so busy with everything.
And I can understand. And you have to make out schedules and plans and organize. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've had guys message me on Wednesday. Can you go out Friday night? Nope. Do you
Yeah.
not like me anymore? No. My schedule goes out on Sunday. You needed to
Yeah.
have your request in by then.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true because if we don't work, we let our clients down.
Right.
We let our financial situation slip.
Right.
And then we are left at the end of the month worrying about where's the rest of the financial help going to
Right.
come from.
Right. Because we don't get checks.
No.
Meaning, if I don't work or if you don't work or, one of, when you, a person owns their own business, they take a day off, they don't get a check that day.
No.
They take an
No.
evening off, it's going to cost them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like with me, like yourself, I've got the month on my calendar of what I got planned.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to stick to that as well.
Right.
And that's just the way it goes.
Well, and relationships tend to be, and these are one of the terms. It was like there was a case, and Scientology loved this case. Like this is like their Stonewall #1 broadcasting. So a 17-year-old got into apparently a fight outside of a bar. I guess in Britain they can drink at 17.
No, 18. They are allowed into bars at 16.
Okay.
But they've got to be with an adult, but they are not allowed to, well, not supposed to drink until they're
Uh-huh.
18.
All right. So anyway, he gets into a fight, gets arrested. Apparently it's 5 years in jail there to get into a fight. If it's
Yeah, if
bad
they
enough.
yeah.
Okay. So instead of like pleading guilty in front of the barristers and going and doing 5 years, he pled insanity. And goes to Broadmoor, which is apparently a very famous institution up there.
Rough. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, he gets to Broadmoor and he tells the psychologist, "Look, I faked this. I done this just to get out of going to the jail. Let's do my little 6 months here, and then get me the hell out of here."
He had a shock come into him then.
He did, because he got labeled a sociopath, with narcissistic tendencies. Took him 12 years to prove to them that he's not crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And Broadmoor is where they put people like Ian Huntley.
Uh-huh.
And Fred West went there.
Uh-huh.
So, like, the big boys go there, if you know what I mean.
Right. But it was interesting listening to everything that, example. Yeah. He wouldn't, do the sweatpants and t-shirt thing. He would always dress up nicely, jeans, t-shirt, or suit if he was having visitors or whatever. That's grandeur. Taking care of yourself is apparently stimulations of grandeur, according to psychologists. Ideas of grandioseness. He wouldn't socialize with serial killers, so that was, I believe it was a lack of empathy. Like the dude went through, like there's a book out and it goes through all this stuff that we as normal people go, that's everyday life. Get up, get your hair done, do your makeup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently that's a strong evolution of grandeur.
It's like getting with the real world.
Yeah, but this is what the psychologist done to him. Like, fine, you want to get out of jail? Not a problem, honey child. We will. And they literally, he came out with 2 pages of diagnosis according to the DSRM, which is the book that has all the diagnosis in it.
Yeah.
So, can your ex be a psychopath? Probably. Is he in a position of power? He'd probably have to be a psychopath. Ex-military? Yep, guaranteed psychopath. They turn them into psychopaths on basic training. Dating a doctor, you're dating a narcissist.
Yeah.
Sorry, especially surgeons. They turn them into narcissists. You got to believe you are God to go in there and be, taking apart people's bodies and putting them back together.
It's just... This is going to sound really horrible. These people who write these books are so judgmental and has a one-way vision, which is very narrow-minded at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I also think that the DSRM is so open spread for diagnosis.
Yeah.
That for DSRM diagnosis of narcissist, please give me another one.
Yeah.
Okay. But where we get into trouble was when Becky from Psychology's, armchair on Monday morning starts looking at somebody's behavior and going, well, that's narcissistic. They have, they always want to look good and clean and put together. So that's got to be grandiose ideas of themselves. We had a fight and argument, and they would take no blame for the argument. That's a lack of empathy. They want control over their house, so, that's controlling behavior.
With them looking nice and looking after themselves, I would call that well-groomed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As far as looking after their house, if they've worked all their lives to get that house, it's only natural to want to look after it.
Or expect you to look after it when you're the one staying home all day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say that's natural behavior for somebody that's worked hard to get what they've got.
Mm-hmm.
As you've said yourself, having a shower, looking nice, that's part and parcel of everyday life.
Right. Well, it's like, I don't know, Brenda can remember. It was probably 3 or 4 months ago on another show I do. We done a Izzy's cheating article. And the person in the article was describing their husband, and they thought that they were cheating because as soon as they come home from work, they went up and took a shower, took a good 30 minutes to themselves before coming down and helping with the baby.
I'd say that's their chill out and relaxation before they come down, because they know they're starting a second job with the baby.
Well, not only that, but I was thinking of work fields that I don't want you touching my child. Hell, I don't even want you touching me until you get a shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
First one being, if you work in the hospital, you dawdle your ass straight to the bathroom. I don't want to see you.
Yeah. No.
If you're a coal miner, you dawdle your happy little ass to the shower. You aren't touching my baby.
Yeah.
Or my house. They don't even sit down in the chair I have assigned you. Into the shower you go.
Do you know what we used to do with our coal miners? We used to have little sheds out the garden that when we knew they were on their way home, we'd put a hot bucket of water in there and clothes so that they took their dirty clothes off, left them in the shed, put on something else once they've had a wash to walk through the house to then go and have a shower.
See, we took it a little upscale here. Most of the houses here have basements. And in every basement, if there's not a shower, it's not built right.
Yeah. See, our basements here are not a big thing now. Mm-hmm. Basements here are turned into part of the house.
Right.
And because a lot of our basements are right down under the property, you can't get water down there. You're lucky to get electric down there.
Wow. Yeah, but no, like our home, a lot of our older homes have showers put in, and it's just a shower.
Yeah.
No, let's take your boy, for example. He works on motorbikes and all that greasy stuff. I bet he's going to get sent to the shower more often when Parker's around.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
he's not... That's an evil mother I am. In the summer, he's not allowed in with dirty hands. He has to wash them in the outside tap with soap before he's allowed in the house to touch anything.
Good. Okay. So, I come in, I go to the gym, I come in, I hit the shower. I go shopping, I come in, I hit a shower.
Yeah.
But she was ready to dump the dude because he wouldn't come down 30 minutes, and give up this. And I'm like,
no.
Excuse me. You don't want your child being exposed to everything that these people go through, even office jobs. I'm sorry, if I have the choice between a nurse touching me and a accountant touching me, I'll take the nurse first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at least she washed her hands throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accountants, they don't wash their hands. They touch keyboards and mouses and
Yeah.
paperwork, people snotted all over. Go get a shower.
Yeah. I agree with you totally.
Uh-huh.
I agree with you totally.
Right. So it's taking a look at your now ex, and here's my question to everyone always breaks up. What is it your take in the relationship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Brenda? That's how I cleanse, and clear. If I've had a really bad day, I will just go up and stand under the shower for a good 30 minutes just to let the water run all the way down the plug hole and take all the negative energies with it as well.
Exactly. And you want that. You want that reset. You want that reconnection.
Yeah.
But, manipulating, I'm sorry, I've seen that manipulation go both ways in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's half the relationship.
Yeah.
So immediately identifying someone was an ex-partner as, they're a narcissist. They were narcissists, so I had to dump them. How about saying why you really dumped them? I dumped them because I didn't want to put up with their greed. I dumped them because I didn't have time to prescribe to their goals.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Brenda brings up my recipe for bath salts. Instead of, I am classic for multitasking, and I like to speed shit up. I don't have 45 minutes to sit in a tub. So I take a bottle of bath wash. I take out a fourth of a cup of the soap. I add a fourth of a cup of sea salt to it, and I shake it up. 1, I exfoliate. 2, I get a shower, and I use it in the shower. And 3, I get a salt bath all in one.
See, I use over you, we have marine salt body wash.
Oh, how lovely.
So I buy that because it does everything all at one time.
Exactly. See, in America, we have to do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't get the luxury of just buying it, unfortunately. So, why don't we take a break? And when we come back, let's talk about how to deal with a breakup.
Shannon's brutal.
Shannon is great. I dumped them because I have children and I don't need to mommy another common to a one common one. I can't read that. Anyhow. Yeah.
What Shannon's saying is she don't want another child to look after.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Oh, maybe if I can find them.
I found out that my husband had been cheating on me, and my whole world turned upside down.
I stressed over any and everything, constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop.
I was attracted to a psychic advisor to get clarity.
I was like, there's no way that's real. But the things that were coming up felt so accurate.
I really need that unbiased, non-judgmental advice. If there's some part of your life that is not quite fitting in, you maybe want to try something that you haven't tried before.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
Welcome back. All right. So yes, sometimes you don't want to raise another child. And that occurs because, I'm sorry, men and women, both of them are children. But let's say you do break up, and it happens. What do you say to everybody? How about our goals didn't align anymore?
I've got one client, and I think you've got the same client. She is adamant that her partner should come before her children.
I don't have that client, but I know that idealism, and I don't like it.
No. The way I feel as a mother and as a professional reader, your children should be your priority.
Right.
No partner, no family member should come before your children.
Right.
You give birth to them children, and that's where they are always going to be by your side.
Exactly. And see, that I don't get that idealism that a partner should come first before the children. And see, that even goes back farther.
Yeah.
At least in this area. I don't know about your area, but I can remember families where the father had to get the biggest piece of chicken or the best dinner. That their needs had to come first, and I could never get that concept because I wasn't raised in that concept. It's like the ones that go, well, the parents have, the parents' relationship comes before the children's. We have children, but our relationship comes first. We have to come first. I've never really gotten that understanding.
No.
Okay.
As a parent, and I'm a big believer in this, as soon as you give birth to that child, you've got a legal obligation. Your legal obligation is you need to look after that child and put them first.
Well, I think you have a moral obligation before that. That children come first.
Yeah.
Or even yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't get these modern concepts on child rearing. I also don't get the idealism behind this idea that, you have to put someone down after you dump them.
No.
Or there's got to be a psychological reason why you dump them. Instead of saying we just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Or we didn't work anymore. Because relationships are a give and take, and sometimes that take is too much or that give is too much. And it doesn't work anymore.
A wedding, a marriage, is like a lifelong contract unless you don't want that contract anymore.
Exactly.
When I split up with the boy's dad, I never put him down, but he does it constantly about me. But what he didn't realize while doing that, he turned the kids against himself.
Right.
And I think that's got a lot to do with it as well. Because while you're bad-mouthing somebody else, the people in that situation work out the situation for themselves anyway.
Right. And you can't control. And I think it's because of people, especially the ones that have felt their forever love 20 times already this year. Yes, I see you on that Facebook status.
Yeah.
You've met your soulmate. And we're 8 days in?
Yeah.
And, you already changed that soulmate 5 times. Now, come on, y'all. Knock it off. You're getting a little fat for the soulmate title.
We have a saying in the lesbian world, and Shannon and Brenda are going to love this. Within a week, you're married and engaged. Within 2 weeks, you've moved in together. You've adopted each other's children. Within 3 weeks, you've got a pet. You're happy. You're settled. Within 4 weeks, you're divorced because it haven't worked out.
Right. Yeah. Like, I already see that happening around here. And it's like,
Yeah.
Let's not. Like, let's just not.
There we go, see? There we go. Brenda's on my side.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing, Brenda. You don't want, we got a saying over you, and you might have heard of it. When you're talking rubbish about somebody, we call it airing your dirty washing in public.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I really don't believe in.
Right.
Because that shows how petty you are as a person. And you just feed other people's emotions because they want to know everything.
Right. But here's the other side of that, and it gets really terrible. Is, and we see it all the time. The people break up to get back together, break up to get back together. It's like watching a roller coaster ride of it. And if you take sides on either side of that, you're endangering your friendship with them. And like, I'm glad you dumped him.
How many times do we have clients that say, he wants to try again, but my family won't have him back? Well, whose bloody fault is it for bad-mouthing him to your family in the beginning?
Well, here's the even bigger question. What brain knowledge is theirs?
Yeah.
Meaning, are they dating him? No.
Yeah.
Will they be living with him? Well, no.
Yeah.
Then again, what brain knowledge of theirs? Meaning, what's it matter what your family thinks?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny. My son and my daughter-in-law, if they argue, they both complain to me about each other, and I just say, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And then I just say to him, just sort it out, will you?
Right.
I don't get involved. I don't take sides. I just tell them to get on with it.
Exactly. So if you're dealing with your friends who have this tendency to label narcissism, I'd call them out on it.
Yeah.
Going, you didn't think they were narcissists when they got partner at the firm. You didn't think they were narcissists when they started working extra to pay for your Volvo.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I mean by you work damn hard for what you've got, because you haven't got the energy to pay anyone else attention. It don't mean you're a bad person. It means you're knackered.
Exactly. And you're needing to, and a lot of times that knackeredness is you need time to recharge.
Yeah.
You need time. And sometimes you have to not date. And I know I just spoke terrible words to many people out there.
Yeah.
Not date. What if I never find anybody? Good.
Yeah.
If you're driven by your career, if you're driven by everything around you, maybe it's time to let a little space into another area, like dating.
I've been single for so long, I don't think I could have anybody else share my house.
I can understand that point of view.
It may sound selfish.
Not at all. Not at all.
But I'm the only one that works to keep this house going. And damn hell, after all these years, is somebody else going to move in and reap my rewards?
Well, not only that, but now granted, I'm speaking out of turn because I've not been single for 20 years. Sorry, just haven't been. It didn't occur. So take that with the grain of salt that it comes with. But I think it would be different to be alone for a period over, a number of months. Like, I think I would have to run people out of my world. Because I don't think I could take to that change very quickly. But once I did, it'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
Ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Nope, that doesn't interest me either.
It took me a long time to come to terms with it, but then when I did, it was like, well, hey, I then passed my driving test. I had all my own independence. I
Right.
didn't need anyone else.
Right. And I think that's an important part that I think makes a lot of relationships different. And we
Yeah.
see this in older relationships than we do in younger
Yeah.
relationships. The difference between needing somebody and enjoying somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because right now, I don't need anybody. You know, Techie moves out, Invisible disappears. Okay. I still have my dogs. I'm quite happy. Like it would
Yeah.
take it would take some work to get my attention from somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm one of these. This is going to sound awful coming from me as a reader. I have
Right.
high expectations. And if nobody can meet those expectations, they got no chance.
Same.
Yeah.
You know, people
Yeah.
often ask me if I'm looking to add to my household, and I'm like, they got to come with an A1 standing and a list of demands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I suppose, because we are older, perhaps we got more views on where we want to go in life. Whereas the younger generation, they haven't lived life to know all the things that we know, maybe.
Well, that, and I think that, you know, we grew up in a different generation.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're both Gen X's.
Yeah.
We can take care of ourselves. Like since age 9, we've been able to cook our own dinners, let our own self
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah.
We don't need babysitters.
No.
We're a little feral when it comes to like codependent relationships. Like I don't operate well in one. I will tell you point blank, I am terrible as a codependent person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I notice it a lot. The word narc comes in a lot with the younger generation because they don't know how to work on a relationship, whereas the older generation know the difference.
I think they've been sold a bill of bad goods.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that, you know, as children, they were read a lovely fairy tale that I get that's really cute and lovable called Cinderella.
Yeah.
Okay, and apparently they had really expressive parents when it comes to the prince kissing the princess and living happily ever after. I really wish they would write a part 2 called The Day After Happily Ever After.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it covers the waking up and him snoring. Or, you know, having to work the 80-hour job to pay for the vacation that you want, but you get mad at him for the prince not providing the, you know, being there at the dinner table.
Yeah.
You get one or the other.
Yesterday, my son phoned me and he said, Mum, can you come and have the baby for a few hours? We haven't slept for a few nights and we're knackered. So I said, yeah, okay.
Right.
Oh, excuse me, I'll come and have the baby. So I went and sat with the baby for a good few hours. They came down after a sleep. And I looked at my daughter-in-law and I went, how do you sleep with that? And he said, what? I said, you snore like a train. And she looked at me and she laughed and she went, that's why we got the spare bedroom. And I thought, that's coming from a young couple. For them to say something like that, I was really proud of them both.
Exactly. It's like, that's why we got the spare bedroom for me to kick him into.
I was so proud that they knew that was an option, not something that they felt they couldn't do.
Exactly.
And I think the younger generation just look at it, as you said, as all fairy tales. Once that honeymoon period is over, reality hits.
Exactly. And that's when it's rubber to road. That's when those good morning, honey. Hope you have a great morning. And good night, darling. Hope your day was magical. Stop. It's because you've heard them for 375 billion times. And people get like, I know this one guy. Actually, let me give you 2 examples of 2 guys I know. One guy has it pre-programmed in his phone to do this every morning and every night to his partner's phone.
Right.
Okay. because this is one of the things that he figured out he could do, and they didn't have arguments anymore. It's like, fine, I forget all the time. I'll just have the phone do it for me, which is all great and grand until he gets an updated phone. Then he's in trouble, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I used to work in a floral shop, and we had an older gentleman come in and pay, and that was about every 6 months. He'd come in, drop a couple, about $500 on the account, on an account, and I never knew what it was for. I just processed it and went on. Finally, I asked our florist, "What's the deal with this dude? Like, is he having a lot of funerals or something?" He says, "Oh no, he has a plan. He has a plan that we had back in the '80s, and he's continued it on. That his wife gets sent flowers I think it's every third Friday. She gets a new bouquet of flowers, and then like the anniversary, he gets a bouquet of flowers, and
Oh, bless him.
And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, at this point, he's paid up till she'll get flowers till she's dead. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, that plan was expensive back in the day. Now flowers are cheaper, so we adjusted it for him. But I'm like, okay, so this man isn't calling the florist every whatever.
No.
It's just automatic.
But that shows that he's thought of the years ahead. So he's never going to leave his wife because that's always part of the plan. He's never going to get into trouble because he's never going to forget.
Exactly. It's all pre-programmed. So what do you need? You need a good phone. With some of these people, I swear, you need a good phone that you just pre-program the text into it. On the other side of it, you need a good florist that knows all the important holidays and just goes in there and pre-fills the order for you. Open an account. And I'm sure these two men's partners thinks they're amazing. No, they're just shortcutted it because they saw that those were things that were important.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true, Brenda. That is so, so true. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Everyone's on their best behavior before the ring goes on. Everyone's defaults to their normal behavior after the ring goes on. That's why I always suggest living with them for a year.
Yeah.
People don't like that suggestion, but I highly recommend living with them for a year.
My divorce cost more than my actual marriage.
I'm trying to think there.
It's crazy.
It is. It is crazy. But, my divorces are normally easy, but U-Hauls are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. But stop self-diagnosing. Leave the psychologist to do their job. And psychics, knock off your psychology degrees, please.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, we look at it from a totally different way. What they call is a narc, we put them back on the straight and narrow and say, well, actually, no, it's A, B, and C.
Yeah, they're not a narc. They're a CEO. They're successful. They're trying to pull things together for their life. Now, apparently, you can't agree with their goals.
See, I always say when you live with someone before you marry them, is you got to try before you buy. And I swear by that, the same as Shannon do.
And the number of times I have canceled that subscription.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because it's a way of life now as well.
Exactly. Well, see, the Irish used to do that. Like, you had to live with your wife or your husband for a year with their family, or, who's ever family, before you were allowed to wed in Ireland.
We got a housing crisis over here. So that tradition have started all over again. Where people can't afford to house themselves because the housing market is way over our minimum wage, so they wouldn't get a mortgage. So now the children are starting to live with the parents with their families.
Right. And that makes sense. I mean, it's always made sense,
Yeah.
to have it that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you really want it that way? And it's like, yes, you want to actually make sure that you have a strong footing
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
world before you get
Definitely.
there. And if you're rushing and pushing yourself, you've got to like pull back and take a wide stock at, okay, why, especially when you're breaking up repetitively.
Yeah.
Why are we breaking up? Is the makeup sex just that good?
Yeah.
Is because I've seen couples get stuck in this breakup cycle. They break up, they get back together, they break up again, and it's like, y'all guys
It's
need to
not
find out a better way to
healthy.
make it.
Yeah.
Isn't. A
Yeah.
better way of arguing. And one of these days, I think in this series, we're going to discuss how to have a proper argument.
Yeah.
Because it's vastly different than what I see a lot of times play out.
I'm actually going to put that on my notepad for our next board meeting.
Yes. Because people need to learn how to argue. Putting people down is not arguing.
I remember once going over to my really close friends. We never argue. We've been friends for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over one day in a really foul mood, and she said something and it really upset me. And we had an argument. And in the end, I turned around, I looked around, I went, just shut the fuck up and give me a hug. Everything was forgotten about then.
Right.
And she went, I think we needed that. I was like, yeah, I think that's 15 years of crap built up.
I make techie schedule arguments.
Oh, God.
Because I got tired of arguing when I was tired.
See, I don't. I very, very rarely argue.
We do too, but if he wants to argue, he needs to put it on the schedule because invariably, every time we got into arguments, there was a pattern. I would have worked, a very long psychic shift.
Yeah.
16, 12 hours. Then had to get up and go do something. Then had to do this. And by the end of it, it's like, no, I'm not taking any of your shit today. Let's argue about where to put a tree at.
Yeah. Don't you pick on my
our biggest arguments.
Don't you pick on my techie anyway? You know he's my friend.
I know that he's your friend, but at the same time, I've lived in this house at that time, I'd lived in a house for almost 20 years. And it's like, I know where the water and the power and the sewer and all the lines are. We don't need to call Miss Utility to come out and spray paint my yard and find something else wrong with it. And he grew up in, that's the first thing you do. And it's like, no, you don't. Not in this area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the biggest and best arguments we've ever had. At the same time, it's like I had been up 16 hours and we argued for another 4 over where to plant a damn tree.
See, me and my friend, we argue over stupid things. Well, not so much argue, just bicker. We went shopping today because we go shopping together once a week because she got back problems. So I help her do her shopping. And I said, are you picking me up in your car or am I meeting you? She said, I'll pick you up. But she got one of these big 4x4 things. And I really struggled to get into it because I was so short. And she said, I'm going to start looking for my new car soon. I said, can you get something lower? She said, no, I want something higher. I said, no, you can't. Because if you get something higher, I can't come with you. And we were bickering all the way around the shops about it. But
I have a solution for you.
Go on.
She has to get a step ladder.
Don't take the piss. But that's what friendships, relationships, that's what it's all about. Having the banter, having the friendship, having... Right, this is a big one. having to say something without being in fear.
Exactly.
You know, and the things we say to each other, Brenda,
People.
don't you dare say that about Jay. I've got his back, you know.
You're misunderstanding. I hear it all the time, poor Techie Joe.
Right, I get you now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Joe's my friend.
because yeah, he covered for you last week. I should probably
Oh,
should have
did
him
he?
cover for me
Bless
today.
him.
Yeah, he sat in, listened
my
to my
next-
predictions.
On our next meeting, I'll say thank you.
Okay. Well, darling, how's your week looking with grandma duty?
It's okay if I'm just going with the flow with the baby at the moment.
Okay.
If he needs me, I'm there. I'm trying to give them the space to get into the family routine because I think that's important for them as well.
Right.
You know, like when they phoned yesterday, can you come? Yeah, I'll come, not an issue.
Right.
They are, how can I put it? It's hard for them to get into the routine. They're first time parents, so I'll be on my usual hours unless I'm called for, which is from
Right.
about 8 a.m. till about midnight-ish.
Okay. Yeah. The first 3 months they never get to sleep, so I understand going up there and taking off. I
Yeah.
will be around. I'm not setting a schedule this week. We're going to see how I do with my, divorce of the digestive system reemerging, and we'll see where things go there, guys. So you just have to watch my on-call status, because it'll pop up when I'm ready. Okay. All right. So with that,
Brenda,
guys,
did you see the photos of my handsome little grandson?
she did, and all the
Oh,
special
he's
places.
just, scrummy he is.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I can't wait till he's walking because I love that stage.
You
where
do.
where they can get filthy dirty
Uh-huh.
and where they can interact with you.
True. See, I like him from the stage they're in now up until about age 5. When he learned that 2-letter word that I don't like. And then I'll pick him back up around 15. Like, send him to boarding school from 5 to 15 and I'm good.
Well, we've already made the decision that Mum will go back to work. I'll have him for them to work. He'll come for sleepovers and they still need to have their life. And let's face it, when we were younger, we loved having sleepovers with family.
Exactly.
And that's something I'm trying to keep going.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye!